Whatever, buddy. Just take over the world someplace else,
Yeah,
all right?
buddy.
You're in the
Take
goddamn way.
Screw you all! Max Goslin is here! Nico Bellic! He's the fucking man, bitches!
Roman, come on, let's go. To the mansion, huh? This is the mansion?
Just a temporary place. The mansion is coming, cousin. That's the dream. Follow me.
Niko Bellic's story remains my favorite of all the Grand Theft Auto games. This noir vibe of Liberty City is so atmospheric and dramatic compared to Grand Theft Auto 5. And you feel how unwelcoming, cold and dangerous a big city can be, especially for immigrants. Since Niko's arrival in Liberty City, we feel that the world he imagined through the lens of his cousin's emails is rapidly collapsing. No mansion, no parties, no cars. Of course, Roman has a little taxi business, but it is not that Niko read about big city life in messages that Roman wrote either in a drunken numbness or in a fit of fantasies.
You want to shoot some pool?
It's a good idea, cousin. We shall play pool. I pick you up in next hour.
So, Niko Bellic, with his dark past, trying to start a whole new life in New York, in Liberty City, of course. New life without any crime. From the first few minutes, we understand that the protagonist wants to start living like everyone else, find a job, build his future, become closer to civilians. But he feels that the burden of war and the complex criminal background that threatens to destroy Niko himself and his friends. Unfortunately, you can't hide shit from a pig, and already from the first steps in the country of freedom and opportunities, our protagonist begins to get involved in local criminal affairs, and so dirty criminal affairs. The snowball, which by the end of the story will affect everyone who Niko knows in one way or another, begins with a small snowflake, Roman's request to insure him during another trip to a backstreet casino. This leads to a confrontation with the Albanians, and in my opinion, from this mission, Niko begins to lose faith in the fact that he can start a completely new life in Liberty City. He understands that he came from the war in destroyed Yugoslavia to the street war, to the war where everyone is for themselves, where it is not easy to understand immediately who is their one's own and who is someone else's. And in this world of money, illegal substances and weapons, can everyone be trusted at all? The developers of the game coolly reflected this Russian vibe on the streets of Hope Beach. These dirty sports suits, a shitty district, constant grumbling about how bad and unfair everything is, and of course the Russian mafia group, which can be described as from dirt to prince. Interestingly, the Russians were bursting with pride from the release of Grand Theft Auto 4, because this is our guy, a Russian. But Niko separates himself from these swamp people with an unambiguous phrase.
I ain't Russian.
And all the praises in his dialogues are in Serbian, which shows his origin. By the way, it is not clear why his surname is pronounced as Bellic, although in the Serbian version it will be pronounced precisely as Belic. But let's consider this gentle Americanization of our character. Perhaps it is precisely because his English-speaking friends pronounced his surname in this way that Niko now presents himself.
So, Mr. Bellic.
So we have a protagonist who maneuvers his way through all the nationalities of Liberty City's criminal world: Russians, Albanians, Jamaicans, Puerto Ricans, Irish, Italians, and of course Americans. This watershed doesn't give Nico any chance to start a new life, but only drags him into the bloody and the brutal affairs of mafia groups.
Open the door! Open the door! Open the door!
And the social elevator about which the cousin constantly talked leads not up, but down, into the hell of the city of freedom and equality. Nico suffers from this, but he shifts the blame for the most part to his cousin Roman. That's not without reason, because he created the false opinion about Liberty City. Plus, he got involved in clashes with the Albanians, which started the chain reaction. You can hear accusations from Nico when the cousins go on vacation to a bar, darts, strip club, etc.
Oh, stop complaining! You're pathetic! The one thing this country has taught you is how to whine.
Fuck you.
That's better. Grow some fucking balls!
I will when you grow a brain.
He harshly responds with his cold realism to Roman's infantile optimism, and draws attention to the fact that it was because of Roman's gambling addiction and relation with local criminals. The entire plot of Grand Theft Auto 4 leads the hero through all possible troubles, unfulfilled expectations, betrayals, intimidation, manipulation, lies and losses. Sometimes one gets the impression that Nico is paying for the sins of the past, while at the same time collecting new baggage of even more terrible sins, for which he will also have to answer in the future. The noir atmosphere contributes to immersion in this grey world devoid of bright. It mixes the main character with the streets and makes him so similarly to any passerby. It is like everyone in this town has lost their identity. They got bogged down in the constant pursuit of money, power, and popularity, stuck in a bubble that became a synthetic substitute for happiness for them.
No, it's difficult.
They became a mass floating from nowhere to nowhere, although sometimes the game adds color, but mostly it's very grotesque. The whole city is in grey-brown dark tones, and among them, advertising banners are also dark, but with more expressive colors. You don't feel yourself at Liberty City at all. This city seems to have been created to split and grind within itself anyone who dares to come here in search of happiness. And it skillfully does it with the heroes of Grand Theft Auto 4. It shakes everything out of them, gets the most disgusting characteristics. Thanks to this, we see the path of the characters and we feel them. And even if we don't associate ourselves with them, at least we try to understand. We become real friends with little Jacob, and we see exactly at what moment he begins to behave himself as a friend. We laugh at how Nico joking with Brucey, and we notice that they are also gradually becoming friends, although you don't immediately notice it because of Nico's sometimes so harsh irony. We see his empathy and compassion with Dwayne, who has lost himself and his connection to the world after many years in federal prison.
Besides, you remind me of me.
The whole game is built so that we have choices at K-plot twists and the main storyline, and those choices will have consequences. A lot depends on how the gamer will act. He will follow Nico's principles, or will he close his eyes to Nico's thoughts? Will he act wild and cruel, or will he try to find somewhere deep down a little humanity and mercy? You can slip between the drops, but there is a chance to change and draw conclusions, to see how you can destroy your life and the lives of loved ones with your own hands.